This video is a quick look at converting between fractions and decimals. So first we want to start with a little bit of vocabulary here. So a terminating decimal is simply any decimal that ends, right? 3.24, 2.875. These are decimals that have a terminus, an ending point, right? So those are terminating decimals, which are different from a repeating decimal. So some decimals, right, like the decimal equivalent of 1/3, it goes on forever as 0.33333 and so on. Now when we have a repeating decimal, we can use bar notation. So we can write this simply as 0.3 bar. So that bar represents the 3 going on infinitely. Another example, if you had 0.858585 and that went on forever, again, you could use bar notation like this. Another example, if you had 0.18333333, you can use your bar notation just over the 3 because that's the part that's repeating. All right, let's practice converting some fractions to decimals. So we are going to start by writing 5/11ths as a decimal. So writing a fraction as a decimal is as simple as remembering that a fraction is just another way of writing division. So for example, 5/11ths we can read as 5 divided by 11. So if we want to write that as a decimal, all we need to do is 5 divided by 11. And we know that 11 goes into 5 0 times. Now we can write this 5 as 5.0 and continue solving. 11 goes into 50 4 times, and that's 44. 11 goes into 60 5 times. And you'll probably start to see here, we're going to end up with a repeating decimal. If we were to continue doing this, right, we're going to get 0.454545. So we would write this as 0.45 repeating. Okay, the next one, we're going to write -7 3/8 as a decimal. So first, right, we can remember if we have that mixed number, -7 3/8, then we're going to have -7 as our whole number, right? We'd have a decimal -7 point something. So we can go ahead and just write that -7, and then we can do 3 divided by 8 to find our decimal portion. So 8 goes into 3, 0 times again, and then 8 goes into 30, 3 times, that's 24. We subtract, 8 goes into 60, 7 times, and 8 goes into 40 5 times. So 3/8 is equivalent to 0.375. So we know that -7 3/8 will be -7.375. Okay, another way you could solve this would be to turn -7 3/8 into an improper fraction. So if you prefer, you could write this as -59/8. So if you were to solve this, again, it's just going to give us that 7 in front, so it'll give us the mixed number all at once. So 59 divided by 8. 8 goes into 59 7 times. That gives us 56. Now we can add our decimal and a 0. And you can see we'll get exactly the same thing. And we just need to remember that this was negative. So it would be -7.375. So either of those methods works. Now when we want to write a decimal as a fraction, all we need to do is read our decimal in word form. So if we remember -0.26, we can read this as -0 and 26 hundredths. Right, we've got the number 26 to the right of our decimal, and that 6 is in the hundredths place. So this is -26 hundredths. So as we say that, we can hear the fraction -26 hundredths. And then all we need to do is simplify this. So the greatest common factor of negative 26 and 100 would be 2. So if we divide both of those by 2, we're going to get negative 13/50. And that would be our answer. One more example here. Write negative 3.1 as a fraction. So again, if we simply read this, we would read it as negative 3 and 1/10, right? Because we have negative 3 here. The decimal we say and then we have a 1 in the tenths place. So negative 3 and 1/10. And there you have your decimal written as a fraction or mixed number.